Good morning, podcast world. It is 10/25/2020. That's October 25th, 2020, and it's 8 a.m. I'm looking forward to some morning motivation. And today I'm going to talk about the presidential election that just took place, the last one before the upcoming election of 2020. All I can tell you is get out there and vote. Trump or Biden, Republican, Democrat, red or blue, all of that. Whatever you're looking towards getting out of this, hopefully you get it. Now, all the debates, I only half watched it because they were kind of trash. And the vice president election was interesting because people could not stop talking about the fly that landed on Pence's head. And the thing they kept saying about it was flies only land on things that don't smell good. Just think about it like that. So they were saying like he must have really stunk up a storm for that fly to continuously want to buzz and land on his head that way. And then in the presidential election, the presidential debate, you have they're saying that they're going to cut the mics off. They did not. Boy. So even these people that's controlling the debate are lying to you. Why is there ever a point in time do you feel like they are so lying to me? Like, they know that they're not going to have a cure. They know that they're not going to have a cure in time for the election. They know that they're probably not trying to pass this money, the stimulus money out until right before the election to gain votes. Like, they know. They have ace in the hole is how they feel. They feel like the stuff that they're doing is a strategy to win this election. And for them to be win the election, it's like more money in the bank. No matter what you think, it's always about the green. It's always about the money. It's always about how is this going to benefit me? You know, I don't ever feel like in politics that they are just honestly God trying to help us bottom feeders, us poor folk, us folks who are in the recession, in the front line of the recession, that don't have a job or who aren't able to work because of the pandemic or for whatever reason is going on, you know, that then at this point, you never know what's going to happen tomorrow because there's a COVID-19. Next year, you have COVID-20. All right, what's going on? It seems like every census year, every 10 years, it's every decade, it seems like every year that there's an election, especially, there's always a bunch of misdirection going on. And you never really know what's going to happen until January 21st. Because that's when the powers trade over. So until then, until the inauguration, you're still stuck with the guy that's doing you wrong. You know, so if things don't go Trump's way, I feel like he's going to be one of those kids that say, give me my ball, I'm going home. And everybody knowing that everyone at the playground is playing with this basketball, but it's his basketball. He's going to take up his ball and leave. You know, he's not going to give a crap about us. He's not going to care about who's still playing the game. He's only going to be concerned about what's his and what he's supposed to get out of it. And hey, tough titty is how they're going to do it. So I feel that that's what's going to happen. I feel like if Trump, and even if Trump does get his way, he's going to be like, well, you didn't believe in me. You didn't say that think that I could win this. And I told you what I was going to do, or I told you in my tweets what I was going to have, or what's going to happen, you know. You know, I barely won. Just like when he went to Erie, Pennsylvania, and was saying, I was so far up in the polls earlier this year, before the pandemic, that I had no plans of coming to Pennsylvania. I had this thing won. But now, I'm not so sure. As you can see that right there, I mean, that's honesty. I'll give it that. But it's not the right kind of honesty. It's like saying, I only care about your vote. Vote me, F you. That's how it seems. So, I will feel better once the stimulus package is released and passed, and people are, you know, They put a Band-Aid on a gaping artery or wound and thinking that's going to be doing something when it's really not. I mean, like I say, for some people who cashed out on the first part of the season with the stimulus, I'm like, I didn't even know that it was a thing. I wasn't in the know to know that people were getting this extra money, the extra $600 or whatever, and I was just like, wow, that's good for those people who are getting it. So I just feel like right now, due to the season, I can put it out there, weather, holiday season coming up, this coming up season is considered depression season. Like, holiday season is always depressing for everyone, everyone, especially if you don't have family. Maybe you're homeless, maybe you're a war veteran who ended it, that slipped through the system, ended on the streets, or whatever the case is. Maybe you have an addiction, alcohol, drugs, gambling, sex, whatever the case may be. Like, whatever reason that you slipped through the cracks and you ended up on the streets and the things going, your life is going the way it's going, I'm sorry. I don't understand it. I have family, and if I didn't have family, I don't know where I would be to this day if it wasn't for the family that's held me strong. Like, when people be like, oh, I lost my mother, I don't know that feeling right now, So thank God, So I'm sorry to all those who have gone through whatever they're going through. And just hopefully that the choices that the government makes supports and helps you to get back on your feet. If you've been dealing with your high rent somewhere in California or somewhere in Chicago or somewhere in New York or somewhere in Florida, anywhere in Florida for that matter, or California. So, I mean, I'm in Texas, and it's a struggle here, and we have some of the best real estate in the country. Like, when I have friends that are in college that used to come to Texas or whatever and see how the prices were different. Like, in California, gas prices for a regular unleaded could go up to $5 a gallon. I've seen it with my own eyes. I've taken pictures of it. That's why a lot of people don't drive cars. That's why it's cheaper to take the bus. Why would I not take the bus if I have to pay $5 a gallon and my car is only giving me about 13, 14 miles a gallon? Hey, if you got a hybrid or something, it might be giving you 20-something miles a gallon. But either way, that's still, like, think about that. That is like a lot. And then if you don't have a good paying career or job or anything, like, you stuck. Like, I couldn't live in California unless I was rich. I always had this thing thinking, if you stayed in California, oh, you must got money, because that's Hollywood. That's the first thing you think of when you hear Hollywood. Or if you're really historical, you think of the Gold Rush, or you think of the Golden Gate Bridge. You feel like if someone says they're from San Francisco, you're thinking like, oh man, these people got to be rich. Or if you think of someone from Hollywood or whatever, you thinking like, oh, these people are rich. And nobody ever really talks about San Diego, and I hear it's like one of the better cities to live in. I hear good things about San Diego. It's got some of the same amenities that you get from the other cities, but it's just, I hear they're like nicer there or something. I don't know. And I've never been to San Diego. I have been to the Bay Area and the Los Angeles area. So they're different from what I'm used to. Like I said, here in Texas, you get a lot of people waving at you for no reason, and for people from California, like, it's a mug reflex to be like, what they waving at? They're not used to the Southern culture, Southern hospitality thing. So either way, I'm not really sure how this thing is going to swing out, but I tell people all the time, I'm 1,000% sure that the Republicans are going to win, that Trump is going to win, and Even though you sit there and you talk about a time for change, it's always harder to fight to get on top when you're the bottom guy. It's always harder to get a person out of office than to stay in office. Like once you win your first term, it's usually just like, oh, you seen what I can do, boom, roll over and to the next term. Like it'd be different if someone else was in place and then Trump came along. Then you'd be like, I don't know, we'll probably just keep the same guy that we got, or if it was Hillary, they still would probably vote her out because she's a woman. I don't feel like, and that's the main reason that I feel like that they messed up, because most countries don't even want women in power. All right, it's still radicalists out there in the U.S. that feel like women should not be in authority. Women should not be head of churches, or like we are the men. You know what I'm saying? Feel like so they're still battling the fact that a lot of there's people out there that don't want women in the military, as far as like, especially to go see like actual action, going to war and stuff like that. These are the things that we still deal with, and will probably forever deal with. Didn't seem like it's going to change. You had the woman suffrage, and then you've had the whole liberation of women, burn our bras, like back in like the 70s or whatever. So, every 50 years, I guess, which, let's see, every 50 years or whatever, which is, this is in that range, to where it seems like it's something for the women it's about to pop off. So just something to expect, especially if Kamala Harris becomes vice president. I feel like it'll be a lot more, because this is the thing I didn't understand from the get-go when Trump first got elected. After the conversation that took place on his bus, and I was calling him President P Grabber. Girl, look out, ladies. He's gonna grab your vajayjay. So he was president. Like I think it was, I don't know if it's Dave Chappelle or whoever, President Pussy Grabber. I know they said it on, I think it was American Dad or something. Either way, I know that the joke should have been made, and I've even seen it to where, when they're like giving out awards, or he's standing by little girls, they be afraid of him. I'd be afraid of him too, based off some of the comments and statements he's made. But like he said, when you're famous and you're rich and you're powerful, you're president or whatever, you pretty much do what you want, like I know Family Guy made fun of it. That's where I heard about it, and then I seen them do the joke, talking about some locker room talk, and when he was talking on his bus or whatever, it got recorded, and that's where it all came from. And I was like, that's real. Some people were like, that's a real conversation, and that came out well on before the actual election hit back in 2016. So I was like, I can't believe that they voted for this guy. It's like saying that no one that voted for him has any respect for women, and I have nothing to say either for or against that, because if that's the way you feel, that's just the way you feel, Like, you literally have no respect for women, especially coming out of Barack's term and his 2 terms, and having 2 daughters growing up in the White House. And now look at them, as beautiful as ever. Having a beautiful wife like Michelle, strong, beautiful wife. I feel like Michelle could do anything, and like, if they start talking about it right now, Michelle 2024, she's already won because of who she is. Like, her character, her integrity, her just, her strength, everything about her is like you are winning if you find a woman like that. You is she is like when people be like, oh man, they talk about at one point they was talking about back in the day, they was like Oprah, and they talk about Beyonce, and all of this. They all these key factors or whatever are powerful, beautiful women who people have supported throughout the years. But I feel like Michelle is hands down it. I feel like over time, like again, her daughters basically grew up in the White House, and over the next so many years, they'll be, sought after, I guess is the word I'll use, and whoever is lucky to I'm say marry them, date them, marry them, or whatever. You gotta be looking at it like I'm the luckiest guy in the world. You know what I'm saying? Your mama is Michelle, so I know that you have good home training. I know that you grew up a certain way compared to what a lot of people portray us to be, or a lot of people are used to getting. You getting the best of both worlds, and yeah. I mean, I can't say that about some of the past presidents, like Bush's daughters. I can't say that, I can't say that about Clinton's daughter, you know what I'm saying? I can't say that. I can't say that about well, I'm gonna just go that far back because that's when I kind of first started following politics. Clinton, and the reason I first started following politics was like Animaniacs. I mean, by that point in time, I was in social studies, so it's just a matter of age. It's a matter of what you're being taught at a certain age. So, like my 6th grade year, they had like a mock election, and they were asking, and my social studies teacher at the time was wanting to know who people would vote for, and there was another, it was a black guy, Republican, Alan Keyes. He's probably still in politics. He's probably still out there somewhere, and people were voting for him. Didn't know anything about him, the fact that he was black. So I know that that's a factor, and I understood, back then. But I still voted for Bill Clinton back then because I felt like he was the truth. He was really, like, he did a good job, regardless of what was happening in the Oval, little oil in the Oval, regardless of what was happening or whatever at that point in time, which still, in my world, made him so much cooler. I don't care what nobody says. Like, Democratic presidents are so much cooler. Oh my gosh. Like, Kennedy. Like, and it wasn't until college that my favorite president popped on the scene that I was aware of, and that was Roosevelt. FDR. And his slogan was a chicken in every pot. And like I say, if a president were to say that right now, I'd vote for him. That is like the coolest thing, especially you got to look at what was happening at the time. That was a time of during the Great Depression where that nobody was getting food, nobody was eating. They had like soup lines and chow lines, and and like war was going on, and all of this stuff was happening. Like, it was at that time or whatever. The Holocaust was taking place at the time. So you have to think about what was going on in the world to where the phrase "a chicken in every pot" was so empowered, like such an impact. And I'll say it like this. The last thing is, he was a cripple. He was in a wheelchair, you know? And that right there lets you know, like, that's a powerful thing to think about. If this guy who couldn't really walk could run the country so well, what can you do if it's in your hands? And, you know, some years later, that's exactly what we got called for. What can you do for our country? JFK. And don't think about what your country can do for you. What can you do for your country? You know? Powerful words. Democratic words. Something to think about. All right. Well, it's getting a little late. So early, whatever. Time's running. I'm going to leave y'all with this. Just check out the links down below. Subscribe to all the things that I have, like my YouTube channel. And don't forget to like, comment, subscribe, all of that. And don't forget to get out and vote. I mean, it doesn't really matter who you vote for. I personally don't feel like, our vote really counts. But, it's your right at the end of the day. And they say that if you voice your opinion, then you have nothing to say when your person doesn't win or change isn't made. So I appreciate y'all for tuning in. Thank y'all for listening to my podcast. And see y'all on the next one. Hello, YouTube world. Welcome to my channel. Don't forget to like, comment, subscribe, and hit the notification bell so you can be notified when I drop hot content like this. And stay tuned for the next video.